Cognitive hijacking, the silent puppet, strings of the mind. Introduction. Every second, your brain makes approximately 35,000 decisions. Most happen without conscious awareness: which hand to reach for coffee, which route to take to work, whether to trust the person speaking to you. This automatic processing system allows us to navigate complex environments without being paralyzed by analysis. But what happens when someone learns to exploit these unconscious pathways? When a skilled manipulator discovers how to bypass your rational mind entirely and puppet your decisions from the shadows of your subconscious? Welcome to cognitive hijacking, perhaps the most insidious form of psychological manipulation ever documented. Unlike traditional persuasion that appeals to logic or emotion, cognitive hijacking operates in the blind spots of human consciousness, exploiting the very mechanisms that keep us functional. Today, we'll explore how master manipulators infiltrate your decision-making process, turning your own mind against you in ways so subtle that you'll thank them for the privilege. Chapter 1. The Architecture of Automatic Thinking. To understand cognitive hijacking, we must examine the target, your unconscious decision-making system. Psychologists call this System 1 thinking, fast, automatic, intuitive processing that handles most mental workload through heuristics or mental shortcuts. The availability heuristic. We judge probability based on easily recalled examples. If plane crashes dominate news, flying feels more dangerous than driving, despite statistics proving otherwise. Manipulators flood your information environment with specific examples that make their desired outcome seem urgent. The anchoring effect. First information received disproportionately influences subsequent judgments. Cognitive hijackers establish emotional or numerical reference points that skew perception of their proposals. The confirmation bias. We seek information confirming existing beliefs while ignoring contradictory evidence. Skilled hijackers identify your beliefs and present their agenda as natural extensions of what you already think. The authority heuristic. We automatically defer to perceived authority figures without evaluating expertise or motives. Manipulators construct false authority through crafted credentials or association with legitimate institutions. The social proof mechanism. We look to others' behavior to guide decisions. This creates opportunities to manufacture false consensus through fake reviews, bot networks, or coordinated campaigns. These heuristics usually work correctly. The problem is predictability creates vulnerability. Master manipulators weaponize these systems, influencing behavior while leaving rational minds unaware of manipulation. Chapter 2. The Infiltration Protocols. Cognitive hijacking follows systematic approaches refined over decades. Phase 1. Reconnaissance. Mapping targets' mental landscapes by identifying decision-making triggers, emotional vulnerabilities, core beliefs, trusted authorities, and stress patterns through casual conversation, social media observation, and behavioral analysis. Phase 2. Environmental preparation. Controlling information flow, positioning as authority figures, establishing social proof, creating time pressure, and manipulating physical environments to trigger desired emotional states. Phase 3. Cognitive bypass activation. Triggering specific heuristics while overwhelming conscious analysis through information cascading, emotional priming, choice architecture manipulation, and social validation loops. Phase 4. Reinforcement and lock-in. Providing post-decision validation, creating escalating commitments through consistency bias, establishing ongoing contact, and preventing recognition of manipulation. Chapter 3. The Digital Amplification Effect. Digital technology has exponentially amplified cognitive hijacking power. Algorithms track every click, scroll, and pause, building psychological profiles more detailed than therapist sessions. The attention economy's dark side. Social platforms employ neuroscientists and behavioral economists to make platforms irresistible using variable ratio reinforcement schedules. The same principle making gambling addictive. They deliver rewards on unpredictable schedules, maximizing dopamine release and psychological dependency. Micro-targeting and psychological profiling. Digital platforms predict behavior with frightening accuracy, knowing when you're vulnerable to messages, which emotional states trigger impulsive purchases, and which social triggers work for your personality type. This enables individualized cognitive hijacking at scale, crafting messages 80 to 90% effective for specific individuals. The algorithmic manipulation matrix. Modern algorithms actively shape preferences and decision-making patterns through feedback loops, where your behavior becomes increasingly predictable and manipulable. You're not choosing from all options. You're choosing from carefully curated sets designed to produce specific outcomes. Chapter 4. The neuroscience of unconscious influence. Brain imaging reveals manipulative messages activate neural pathways before conscious processing. The amygdala hijack, fear or excitement, triggers flood the brain with stress hormones impairing logical thinking. The prefrontal cortex goes offline, creating vulnerability windows for emotional decision-making. Mirror neuron exploitation. These neurons fire when performing or observing actions. Hijackers exploit them through emotional contagion, behavioral modeling, and social proof manipulation, as your brain automatically mirrors observations. The dopamine manipulation system. Manipulators create variable ratio reinforcement schedules through unpredictable rewards, mystery, and intermittent feedback. Each anticipated reward releases dopamine, strengthening neural pathways for desired behaviors. Chapter 5. Advanced manipulation techniques. The cognitive load attack. Overwhelming conscious processing with complex information, multiple decisions, or emotional stress forces default to automatic thinking. Increasing manipulation, susceptibility. The identity fusion technique. Rather than changing behavior directly, manipulators change identity by helping you see yourself as naturally engaging in desired behaviors. This feels authentic and requires no willpower to maintain. The manufactured serendipity method, creating apparently coincidental encounters with supporting information, people, or opportunities. Because encounters feel random, psychological defenses against persuasion aren't activated. The temporal displacement strategy, manipulating time perception through artificial urgency, far future framing, exploiting decision fatigue, leveraging circadian rhythms, or using temporal landmarks. Chapter 6. Corporate and political applications. Corporate behavior modification. Major corporations employ behavioral economists and neuroscientists optimizing customer experiences for maximum influence through store layouts, color schemes, website design, and timing strategies. The goal is creating automatic purchasing habits. Political cognitive warfare. Political operatives apply techniques to entire populations using emotional priming, information cascading, social proof manipulation, and identity fusion to create stable belief systems persisting beyond elections. State-level operations. Nations deploy cognitive hijacking as foreign policy through mimetic warfare, engineering viral ideas carrying psychological payloads. These operations gradually shift public opinion through coordinated information campaigns. Chapter 7. Defense strategies and mental immunity. The mindfulness shield. Regular practice, increases awareness of automatic processes through decision point recognition, emotional state monitoring, source evaluation, and motivation analysis. The delay protocol, introducing delays between stimulus and response. Develop habits of saying, "Let me think about that and get back to you," and instituting mandatory waiting periods for important decisions. The multiple perspective technique. Deliberately seek opposing viewpoints, consult trusted advisors, read multiple sources, and build networks challenging your thinking. The environmental control strategy. Use ad blockers and privacy tools, create distraction-free decision spaces, establish quality information routines, and build diverse social networks. Red flag recognition. Learn to identify artificial urgency, information overload, emotional manipulation, suspicious social proof, unverifiable authority claims, unsolicited obligation, creating favors, and artificial scarcity. Chapter 8. The ethical implications and future threats. The consent problem. Traditional frameworks rely on informed consent, but cognitive hijacking operates below awareness thresholds. This creates paradoxes where defensive knowledge could enable misuse. The neurotechnology revolution. Brain-computer interfaces will enable direct neural advertising, emotional state management, memory modification, and personality adjustment, raising profound questions about authentic thoughts versus artificially induced ones. The collective intelligence threat. Future manipulation will target entire societies through market manipulation, democratic subversion, cultural engineering, and historical narrative control, potentially reshaping civilizations. Chapter 9. The cognitive immune response. Societies are developing cognitive immune systems, including manipulation detection algorithms, transparency requirements, digital literacy education, cognitive diversity initiatives, and decentralized information systems. Effectiveness will determine whether democratic societies survive sophisticated cognitive hijacking. Conclusion. The choice that defines our future. We stand at a crossroads where cognitive influence tools have never been more powerful, deployed at unprecedented scale. The question isn't whether cognitive hijacking will evolve, it's whether we'll develop awareness and defenses to preserve human agency. At its core, cognitive hijacking attacks human autonomy, the fundamental capacity for conscious, intentional choices. When decisions are shaped by unconscious manipulation, are we truly free? Individual protection requires developing metacognitive awareness, building decision-making rituals with delays and external perspectives, cultivating diverse information sources, and practicing emotional regulation, preventing amygdala hijacking. Societal protection needs educational reforms, teaching critical thinking, regulatory frameworks addressing manipulation, technological standards prioritizing user autonomy, and social norms valuing authentic communication. From an evolutionary perspective, cognitive hijacking represents psychological parasitism. Developing resistance may be an evolutionary imperative for populations to survive in worlds where manipulation techniques are widely deployed. The future will be shaped by those understanding hidden psychological levers. The question is whether that understanding empowers or exploits, liberates or controls, enhances human potential, or harvests it for profit. Every time you pause before deciding, question idea sources, or seek different perspectives, you exercise the fundamental capacity cognitive hijackers want to steal, the ability to think for yourself. In a world of invisible puppet strings, the most radical act may be noticing they exist. Recognition leads to resistance, and resistance leads to freedom. The battle for human consciousness occurs daily in every choice you make. The weapons are subtle, stakes enormous, and outcomes will determine whether future generations inherit worlds respecting human agency or treating it as commodity. The mind you save may be your own, but it may also be key to saving everyone around you. In an age of cognitive hijacking, mental freedom becomes revolutionary. Choose wisely, choose consciously, and most importantly, choose while you still can.